Sorry.
It's okay.
Stay in my lane. It's all good.
Hi, good evening, everyone. This is a caucus of the Jersey City Municipal Council. Today is Monday, April 6th, I won't say August, 2015. We had a scheduled 5:30 PM start. It is 5:39 PM. We have Councilperson Gajewski, Ramchal, Bajiano, Yun.
Yeah.
Waterman and Lavaro. Absent at roll call, Councilpersons Osborne, Coleman, and Rivera.
I emailed.
Okay.
I need.
Take it away, sir.
Over here.
I'm Dennis Dorr, and I'm the former president and the current historian of the Lincoln Association of Jersey City. I'm just here, D-O-R-A-N. I live at 91 Summit Avenue.
Which is the resolution for the Lincoln Association? The plaque, right? Yes, the plaque.
Yeah, for the plaque.
So downtown, right?
I've just been asked to come to personally ask you to approve the resolution to put a plaque up at the pier at the beginning of the Owen Grundy Park. It's been researched with the engineering department, and the site is okay, and Burns Brothers has made a bronze plaque. It notes that Abraham Lincoln came through on several occasions during the Civil War, and that his funeral cortege passed through Jersey City on April the 24th, 1865. We would like to unveil and dedicate the plaque on April the 24th this month, because it will be exactly 150 years since the funeral procession came through. It's no cost to the city. It's probably the nicest thing you'll hear tonight. But all we would like is approval. Everything is worked out. Everything is organized. We just want to put it up, and we'll have a ceremony. And you can all come and wear tall silk hats and look like Lincoln. Nobody has ever lost ground by associating themselves with Abraham Lincoln. So.
Funeral train came to the terminal.
They came to Exchange Place. They took the coffin off. They had a huge procession up and down Montgomery Street. Many, many people were there. Dignitaries from all of Jersey City, plus Bayonne, Hoboken, Bergen and Greenville, which were separate municipalities, also Hudson City, which was a separate municipality, officials from New York, a lot of people from Washington, D.C. who accompanied the funeral train. It was a big deal. And the coffin was, the train station was decorated in bunting, pictures of Lincoln, black grape everywhere. They had a brand new ferry boat called, fittingly enough, the Jersey City. And they put the coffin on there with the catafalque at half-staff flags, and they sailed it into New York, and then the body lay in state in the City Hall in New York. This was the major place that the funeral train stopped at. Everything had to come through Jersey City because there were no tunnels at the time. And so this was a huge day. And at 150 years exactly, we'd like to put the plaque up. People have asked me sometimes, how come this organization, we have the oldest one in the country. When Lincoln died, there were many, many Lincoln associations. Every town and city had a Lincoln association. They were all founded by veterans of the Civil War, Union veterans. And as years went by, the veterans died, the associations died off. And Jersey City is the only one from the original time that never died off and has continuously operated every single year, always a dinner on February 12th, Lincoln's birthday. People have said to me, how come, in a democratic city, you honor a Republican president like that? What is the meaning of this? And I've always said, well, Lincoln did great things, he was a great man, but he wouldn't have done anything if he didn't get elected. And in order to get elected, you have to be a really good politician. And if anything is revered in Jersey City, it's a good politician. So on that basis, we hope that you would approve the placing and the commemoration of the plaque.
Embalmed by Bunnell?
I do.
From
He was
Highland
embalmed
Avenue?
several times, but Bunnell was one of the embalmers. And they needed to do that because the funeral procession took 3 weeks to get to Springfield, Illinois, and they re-embalmed him. But one of the embalmers was Milton Bunnell's grandfather. And Mrs. Bunnell had a shrine in the back room on Highland Avenue with a lock of Lincoln's hair and other things. She was very proud of it.
Do they have any dedicated service going to be held any one time?
We plan to do it at 5 o'clock. It's a Friday, and then there'll be a dinner afterwards, probably in the Light Horse restaurant some nearby. And we have some, speakers. I'll speak, and there'll be flags, and there's a cameraman coming from a cable television thing to do to record it, and so it'll be on TV. It's actually from Bergen County, but they're going to transfer it over to JC1. Yes.
I just want to say thank you. So you, Lincoln Association approached my office about this, and I'm glad we could get it done, and thank you for your contribution and donation.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Let's, one? Actually, I'm sorry, we'll start with David, then Kristen, then Jeff. You have one?
Yeah, if you're really gonna talk about it, you really should. I mean, I just have a follow-up. It's not my resolution,
Right.
so I can wait.
Okay. Kristen?
Kristen is here about first reading ordinance, council members. It would happen to be item 3B.
There are several different elements of this ordinance. The two easiest ones that I'll just,
What it was, it's
Oh,
an
sorry.
ordinance amending the zoning code, adopting amendments to the definitions and supplementary zoning regulations of the land development ordinance.
so the two most simple elements of this ordinance are just clarifications of the definitions for story and street. Just some wording changes and clarifications to help avoid confusion in the future on points that were kind of debated and questioned in the past. But more significant in this ordinance is the addition of a definition for mobile food vendor. This was brought on because the Department of Health and Human Services is going to be issuing I think it's 150 new licenses for mobile food vending imminently, and so we felt that it was important to acknowledge that in the zoning ordinance. It's something that exists. It's something that we should know that we're all talking about the same thing when we use that language. Along with that, we have added a standard in the supplemental zoning regulations that says zones in the city that allow restaurant category 2 would allow these food trucks to park on and operate out of underutilized parking lots, should the owners of those parking lots feel inclined to allow that. The theory behind this, and this is something that we researched in multiple cities nationwide, the theory behind this is that if a restaurant is permitted in a zone and a parking lot is permitted in the zone, it's almost inherently understood that the two of those combined in a food truck is also a permitted use. So this really just clarifies that theory. And it does put some limitations on the lot size that this would be allowed on. And again, if the owner of a parking lot didn't want to participate in this, they have no obligation to do so. There's a lot of parking lots, though, that, particularly down at Exchange Place, there's a lot of parking lots that are like basically empty during the business lunch hour. There are also places that are basically empty on the weekends when offices aren't in use. So we thought that this would be a good way to get some of those food trucks off the street where they are kind of clogging up parking spaces. Just to clarify, the planning department has no jurisdiction over what happens on the street. That's something that the food trucks need to deal with the parking authority or division. And this is really just for off-street parking lots that if you own it and you have nothing going on there and you're just sitting on that property, maybe you want to allow this to take place.
Did you note the councilperson Coleman's here?
Yes,
Great.
542.
Okay. Thank you. Any questions for Kristen? None? Thank you. Jeff, knock out planning.
Good evening. This is a ordinance amendment to the Powerhouse Arts District redevelopment plan. I wasn't sure of the 3C. Thank you. This amendment really pertains to a single building in the Powerhouse redevelopment plan. That's the Juan Ribbon building. You might be familiar with it. It's a 2-story warehouse with some pretty major structural deficiencies. The redevelopment plan, when it was originally written, wanted to preserve that building. We then did a study for the warehouse preservation district, which was eventually thrown out in Superior Court, and then we went to landmark individual buildings in the Powerhouse district. And we commissioned a study, and that did not recommend preserving this building, given its architectural alterations and its structural deficiencies. So that really undermined the redevelopment plan as it pertained to that one particular lot. So we really needed to go back and give the site proper zoning in line with the rest of the block. So the current zoning is for the building you see there today for 2 stories. This will raise the height limit to 11 stories and 115 feet, which will still make it the smallest building on that block. This is next to the Art House building, which was just recently completed. That's about 12 or 13 stories. There's been multiple meetings with Padna and Councilwoman Osborne on this. She actually did have a floor amendment, which is included in the package. If you got color copies of it, it's highlighted in blue. Okay. I apologize for that. So I'll just read it to you then. It's very simple. So all the
Right.
okay, there you go. It came out in gray on the that was
The 11-story. Okay.
So that came after this went to the planning board. And that's just provides for a small 5-foot step back on the top floor just to kind of wedding cake the building in just a little bit more and taper it.
Has the owner of this property come in for anything yet, site plan? Are they trying to do anything? Have they suggested they wanted this, or?
Yeah, they requested an amendment to the redevelopment plan. The zoning for it really doesn't hold up any longer after our own study on landmarking individual buildings, and that building was not recommended to be landmarked. So it no longer made sense for the redevelopment plan to be calling for its preservation.
Questions?
The 1900, who's the developer and where are they from?
I don't know the name of the owner of the building, and he may sell the building to a developer. I don't know that there is necessarily a developer for the site.
1900 in a historic area is not historic.
Again, so the study looks at both the structural integrity of the building, but also how much architectural interventions there's been over time and how much of the original historic fabric of the building is still left intact. So they look at all of those things, and they determine that the building was not eligible to be landmarked.
Can we get a copy of that study with the recommendation?
I'd like to know who the developer is.
Yeah. Gene, do you know?
Gene, step on it.
The developer is a fellow by the name of Nino Cohen. He's owned the
Can
building.
you,
The developer is a fellow by the name of Nino Cohen. He has been in discussions with planning with respect to this building for about 4 years. 4 or 5 years. Jersey City, excuse me, he's from New York, but he owns a business in Jersey City. He's been in Jersey City. His business, I think, is called New York Stone. It's a stone company. He intends to develop the business, the property himself. There is no other developer that I've spoken with or that he has spoken with that I'm aware of. And the conversations I've always had with him was that he's going to do this himself. The prior plans were submitted by Lindemann Winkleman by him, as I said, about 4 years ago. He was sidelined because of this historic building issue. When the study was done, it was clear that this building was actually imploding. It's falling. The walls are crooked. There's no really way of saving it. If you look at it, even if you wanted to historically save it, there's parging on it that's falling off. That doesn't really make it historic anymore. You can take a look at it. I mean, you know where it is. So.
Is it designated as historic?
No, it's not. The district might be.
Yeah, it's a rehabilitation zone in the redevelopment plan.
Right.
There's no historic district designation for that.
No.
No.
And it would not go to the Historic Commission.
Right. So that's it. That's what I can tell you.
And there's actually a reference to that study in the text here, but I'll get you a copy of that.
Show more, just a recommendation. Any other questions for Jeff? Nope. Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you.
We got, Jerry, you got one, right? Oh, you got four. Mark, you had one. Come on up. Which item?
It's resolution number 15.24-1. It's for the new Zamboni that has to be custom built.
10 feet.
10 P.
Okay. And this is a resolution for capital account monies to purchase a new Zamboni for Persian Field Ice Rink.
Yeah, the council previously approved the reallocation of this capital funds for this purpose.
Yes. It's for resurfacing the ice up at the Persian Field Ice Rink.
Great. We need a new Zamboni. I'm sure Councilman Rivera would definitely echo that.
Yes, it's needed, and the good news is our backup Zamboni, when we finish Berry Lane, there's going to be an outdoor rink there that we can actually bring that ice Zamboni down there, so we'll have a second Zamboni so we can keep that ice nice also. So the one we've been using, which we had to rebuild the engine twice, which was built in 1994, it's at the end of its legs, but we are going to keep it going and use it at the new park.
Location, how they move?
They have to be flatbed trailer there. Yeah, it's a big piece of machine. It's a very complicated piece of machinery, but it's something we need. There's a lot of ice time. I'm impressed with the recreation, the high schools, the leagues that all use the ice up at Persian Field.
Any other questions?
Well, Marcus here, we want to talk about 10U, which is the cameras, security cameras going to the new municipal service complex. And Director Kearse was also involved in that, so we have them both here.
I did some printing out.
This is, there'll be CCTV cameras.
Yes.
Throughout the site.
Cameras for the Department of Administration, Division of Architecture, Engineering, Traffic, and Transportation.
Yes, this is regarding the installation of much-needed surveillance cameras down at the new 13 East Linden location with the fuel depot and all the offices that are there now. We need to have these cameras installed. We actually purchased the cameras about a year ago. We own them, but this is the installation cost to install the cameras.
This is the cost of $314,000 installation?
That's correct. It's about, Director Kearse, I know we met a few times on it. I think it's about 80 cameras that are going to be 75 cameras that are going to be installed throughout the complex.
We have a 41 outdoor and the 34 indoor.
Yes.
So indoor, there already lines inside the building, or we have to be, it's a line, cable for the camera.
The wiring will have to be put in the building.
Yes, that includes everything, and what we did do, Director Kearse, myself, Director Shea's office, and Chief Zaki, we met numerous times to try to downsize the amount of cameras that were first originally wanted. So the indoor cameras are in the auto garage. It's by the auto parts area where we have some storage of car parts and tools, some of the exits, of course, but we really downsized the amount of cameras we were going to use dramatically from the original list of cameras they wanted to use.
These are HD quality cameras? Or HD quality, high definition? Yes.
High def video.
No. Who's going to be watching these cameras at the communication center?
Yeah, there's another issue down there too. There's no exterior power
currently with the way it's all those lights down there are all solar powered. So anything they're doing on the outside necessitates the additional conduit to, power the cameras and things like that. This is gonna be fed into CCTV and it'll also be viewing on a network at my location.
And also the emergency services unit, I believe. ESU will also, who's located there, will have it fed into their system. Also, we have to remember we have a fuel depot down there. We're always gassing up our trucks. We have a pretty big fuel depot there that's a concern for all of us.
So my concern is that this 75 camera will be monitored at the communication center.
Correct, at CCTV.
CCTV.
Correct.
But when I was at the CCTV location like 2 weeks ago, oh dear.
Me too, that's what I said.
See, really, we have to be honest. When I was a communication center, so probably not on myself, probably whoever went there, their situation, their location at the monitoring room is not ready to add another 75 cameras, really. We city council approved their $100-some thousand upgrade their monitor system, but still it's not done yet. And you guys are going to add another 75 more cameras and screen their room? It's got to be a job.
I think the issue down there, Councilman, is that the current setup in that room was not designed for that room.
Okay.
Right. It was designed originally for the building, and unfortunately, they took a lot of the cabinetry and things of that nature and put them in that room, and you're 100% correct. It's not designed. From my understanding, there's a proposal forthcoming to redesign the monitors and everything else for that location.
And also, these cameras aren't for constant surveillance.
Right.
The CCTV people are going to be watching the streets. This is more of a recording feature, just to keep an eye
And Councilman's
on the
also-
supplies and equipment, people going in and out. So it's not constant surveillance.
It's going to be also monitored by Director Kears, myself, and the emergency services unit, which is located there. So it's going to be more for our sake, so we know who's getting gas, who's in the auto garage, which we're trying to limit personnel in there, vehicles in there. So it's going to help us do what we need to do down at Public Works.
What I can say at this meeting, the CCTV room needs some improvement,
Yes.
really.
It needs a new room.
The
Small.
space already
Small.
very small, very
Small.
tiny, and the people is there, when I see that the condition of the place is very poor, I think we gotta look into that issue, because
There's actually a proposal, Councilman, that should be forthcoming. I'd seen a copy of the draft of it the other day, and what they'll do, this current system will utilize the space to make it more viewer-friendly, which they can do. The cabinets and what's as I said earlier, the configuration it's currently in, they just moved the stuff that was designed for Central Avenue and threw it there. I agree with you 100%.
Councilperson
And
Coleman?
also, I think with that design needs to come training for the staff, because I spent a lot of time there myself, and there were several incidents that happened that I made the call to Director Shea, because the staff were just sitting there. They don't react or act to what's going on the camera. If you see a little old lady and 6 or 7 guys around them, you're supposed to make a call on that, and that didn't happen. I think Councilwoman Waterman was there with me. I made the call on it because I was there. But if they're gonna be sitting there and they're getting paid to monitor those cameras, then they need to be taught on how to respond when there's something going on. They need to be trained.
Right now, they're in the process of transformation of the analog cameras, which was part of the original installations, to the digital cameras. And many of them being replaced now from stationary to pan-tilt zoom. So you can eliminate, if someplace you have 3 cameras, with the eliminated, you'll have 1, but it has the capability to do pan-tilt and zoom.
But what we can say that, the years ago, when we put the CCTV system in Jersey City, and there was, probably Bob remember that, putting that fiber optic cable in the street. City of Jersey City spent millions and millions of dollars for the capital improvement for that. And today, not myself, when we count people, when they visit the CCTV room, we all scratch our head. And other things, we feel like we waste money up there, So there must have to be some way come up from some plan to improve that area. Other than that, really, see, we have to know that CCTV's purpose is simple, proact. That's what it is. You know what I'm saying? Yes. So this CCTV put in the 75 piece we not just, use that for after instant or just more likely this system should be proactive, you know what I'm saying, before something happens. So the monitoring is actually.
And Councilman, it's actually going to allow Director Kears, myself, and some of my division directors to monitor on the weekends and after hours what's happening at the facility. We've made a very big investment into this property on Linden Street.
More of a, to see what's going
Absolutely.
on kind of thing.
There's a recording device in case we need to use it if there's tools or car parts missing. We have police impounds down there. We have police investigation vehicles down there. ESU is down there. So I think it's very important that we monitor that and we have it on recording. And even though it's going to be fed into CCTV, it's going to be also watched by Director Kears, myself, and JCIA and some of the other division directors down there.
Set up this system also. The director of DPW, you can able to watch that at your office, right?
Yes.
We can.
And
now,
here is going to assure me that I can make sure that happens.
now, my next question is to ask that system we have CCTV at the communication centers, and the distance is comparable to watching any work, any monitoring. Sometimes when we buy different system, it's not comparable to what we have.
Yeah, it's all on. Genetech, which is all of the systems feed through that. You can actually, right now, I can view any camera in the city right off my smartphone.
Right.
Which is a capability that will be afforded. Actually, they're using some of that now with the investigation people. They are able to, go out and pull these cameras real time. And basically, as Director Redfield said, the cameras are a passive deterrent. They have to be put. The gas depot is our main gas supply in the city. Plus, it's in addition to that, emergency services, which is, free heavy rescue and all that is on the scene. So right now, there are no cameras there.
Right, and to have a facility there with the railroad and the gas depot and the different companies and going, I think is very important. And our own security will be our security guards, and we'll be there monitoring these cameras also.
This is any office
Security
building,
for our facility.
any project that's built today is going to have cameras as part of its basic security plan. Councilman Ramshaw?
Significant financial
Councilman Ramshaw?
Director, how many locations do you have in the city?
How many? Well, we have, I believe, three, right? Gas locations.
We know we have 715 Summit, one down at Public Works, and one down at
Marin Boulevard, yes.
They all have cameras as well?
I know OEM has cameras. I'm not sure about.
715 has a camera on 8th Street, 8th and Marin. Mine has cameras. And
Yes.
of course, the ones that we do down at DPW.
Then, installation camera is not a high-tech anymore. When I look at it, even John can put you in that security camera in their own or business. But why we brought this one with a public bidding? It's a $300,000 contract without bidding, and if you look at it, this one is a professional service. It's not that high-tech professional service, But what is the reason we're not brought the public bid?
This is on the New Jersey State contract. This has been our vendor who's been doing business with us through OEM and other technology projects for consistency purposes. They know the system. That we thought it was just best to just deal with someone we've been doing business with for the last 5 years.
You raised the issue yourself, Councilman. You said you wanted to make sure the technologies were compatible. So by using the same vendor we always use, we ensure compatibility and our own user interface know-how. It's under state contract. And it's under state contract.
I understand where they come from. That
Yeah, but my concern is that if we bring up the XYZ company, then I can ask them, can we print the system can compatible with what we have? That's the basic, questions. And my concern is that if it's the state contract price, when I research by ourselves, it's not always lowest price.
Right.
See, that is the issue we have, the state contract. We always say that when you talk about the contract, they say, oh, we use a state contract, we use XYZ contract. So it sounds like their price already lower than any other price, but actually it's not. So I think our purchase department, we instead to just use the state contract, they should some kind of extra work to find out lowest price, you know. So, well, with all due respect, you know, probably you know that. So $314,000 to spend that, I understand from the, you know, old issue, but in the future, we just not say in here, we're gonna use a state contract, instead of say that, listen, we get some price quotation from the other vendors, but we find out state contract still cheaper than so and so, so we like to use. Some kind of things we have to put on the field now, you know?
I understand.
Okay?
I agree.
You agree, right?
Right.
Good, we passed the resolution.
Being able to charge us anything they want because
Yes.
they're contracted.
Well, they have to charge us a state contract price, not whatever they want.
And we-
That's the bid price they gave the state of New
And
Jersey.
we have met with this vendor numerous times, Director Kearse, myself, Chief Zaki's office, Deputy Chief Connors, to work on the price, because the price originally was a lot larger than this. And the other thing, Councilman, just so you know, we have the cameras. We own these cameras. We want to use them. I want to see this place protected right away.
We're gonna have these installed right away.
As soon as possible.
Right.
Without-
If we went and bid it, how long would it take?
We have to start the process again.
Yeah, another 2 months to award.
We not only have gasoline, we have a large complement of weapons down in the emergency.
Absolutely.
The camera should have been there already.
Yes,
Before we moved in.
Right.
But what we
No,
say is
I
that.
just wanna make sure we
Yes,
agree.
not this case,
No,
but
in the future.
We, actually, all the members of the city council have a great expectations, due director of the DPW. You know, every director of the, you know, DPW have a different style of the management, you know, the department, but we expect you more moving forward, you know what I'm saying, come up in September, we're gonna use a state, you know, contract. I want you to come out, listen, state contract one thing, but from our purchasing department to our office, looking to get the price for the quotation based on willing to go this one. So if we plan to your work ahead of time, I'm pretty sure we can save hundreds and thousands of dollars in the taxpayers' dollars. You know, that's what I'm looking for your leadership. Okay. All right, I got no problem. Oh, by the way, so who's going to maintain this one?
Very good, Mike.
they're gonna maintain.
Who is the name?
The company,
So
Millennium.
how much maintenance? So maintenance cost is fortune.
Or is it in
As
here?
part of this contract, and
They also now do the maintenance contract for the entire city system.
so this is a part of it.
Yes.
So the contract price is gonna be changed, or will
I believe it's going to
It'll
stay
be
full.
amended, you'll be a little higher next year to include new equipment onto it.
Whatever's included, this is addition to what they've already done. They're in the process of upgrading, changing digital changing analog to digital, replacing cameras that are no longer operable for whatever reason. So if you're adding it, the cost of, you're maintaining an additional 75 cameras, which really doesn't amount to a whole lot of money in additional, but I'm quite sure there will be somewhat of an increase.
Me too.
And the cameras themselves should be under manufacturer's warranty for usually a year or so.
How many years?
I'm not sure, Council, but yeah, I was not involved in those cameras.
So now my concern is that now, you say right, when we
Purchase merchandise, you know, they usually warranty study the day you purchase, that 30 days or 90 days.
Correct,
Now, if we
Councilman.
purchased last year, then maybe.
This June, those cameras will own for a year. That's the bottom line. We have them for a year. Yeah, we have them for 1 year. So we own them, we purchased them, and we haven't installed them yet.
so then means.
That's a savings, we have them.
No, this is time,
Right.
the manufacturer.
We just bought it.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Good luck.
How many you have? Five. You had one, Jerry? Four? Two? Three. You're the winner.
Good evening, Mr. President, members of the council. I had
QRNS?
Yes, I emailed copies of our information regarding these earlier today. First one is F-15231. That's authorizing the acceptance of a 2014 Emergency Management Performance Grant. Proposed resolution authorizes the city to accept the 2014 EMPG grant, which supports the efforts to build and sustain core capabilities across the prevention, protection, mitigation, and response and recovery missions area based on allowable cost to include salaries of personnel performing tasks related to this mission. It's a $20,000 grant. That's F15231.
231? Okay, hold on. That was 10F.
It's a $20,000 grant, correct. Second one is Resolution Q, 15242. That'll authorize the award of a contract to Motorola Communications to provide radio dispatch consoles in the Field Communications Unit and Emergency Operations Center. What we're doing is upgrading the consoles to what we currently have in the Communication Center, which allows a seamless interoperability between all of the different radio frequencies, VHF, UHF, and the 800 without the necessary patching. It's all done through a communications computer console as opposed to having to do the physical patches. And that'll bring the system in the trucks and the operations center back to the same system that we have in the communications. And that's $47,086.20, and that's funded through 2014 UASI.
Questions? Hearing none, next item.
And the last one is R15243. That authorizes the award of a contract to Motorola Communications to provide portable radios and accessories for use by the members of Jersey City Fire Department. Funding for the project, $123,579, is also provided through the 2014 UASI grant.
He's always buying radios.
I know.
The problem is, Councilwoman, that as the technology changes, the equipment has to be updated. So we try and budget 25 for fire, 25 for police per year.
No other questions? Okay. Jerry, you're up. Trying to break records here. That's right.
Okay, good evening. I have four. First one is 10G. 10G, as in George. Resolution to accept a grant from the New Jersey Department of Law and Public Safety, Traffic Safety for Distracted Driving Grant, $5,000. That's it.
They'll get you for eating when you're driving.
That's it. Next one is 10O. Resolution authorizing an award of a contract to Dennis McWeeny for monthly K-9 training and evaluations for Department of Public Safety. This is for our police dogs.
Any questions? Your next item?
Next one, 10S, as in Sam. Resolution authorizing award of a contract to Motorola for the purchase of 4 digital trunk consoles and antenna systems under state contract with Department of Public Safety. Currently, our backup system for the police department, if our dispatch goes down, is at the old West District. So with this equipment, it'll be installed in the new West District. In the event the communication center gets down, we can police dispatch from the new West District. I don't know.
75. Yeah, 1975. 73, actually.
That's what happens when we do stuff ourselves.
Believe it or not, it's really close.
Did you what I said?
I'm going to say possibly the last week of April, early May. We had issues with the contractor. We had a contract settlement negotiations with him about a month ago. They finally agreed to our terms. They're paying their subs now, and things are happening. It's really close.
That's what happens when we build things ourselves.
Good one, good one.
Yes, sir.
28 Patterson Street, the senior building.
Correct. The elevator.
Elevator still not working. It's almost 2 months now.
What block
The
is
vendor
that?
was there a couple weeks ago. There are some parts that are on back order for the elevator. I know they did some follow-up today. I don't know how that went, but
As you say, you told us that they're actually senior. So almost 3 weeks ago, more than 2 weeks ago, they're going to be finished the job in 2 weeks. So almost 2 weeks has passed a long time ago.
I know they were waiting for the parts to come in. I mean, John McGrath, your aide reached out to John McGrath today. I don't know how that conversation went, but as soon as the parts were coming in, they were going to work on it right away.
As you know, today's the transportation system, even though part come from the all the way end of the east coast, even though thank you very much, Korea make the best elevator system, but anyhow, even though you get from there, it not took the 2 weeks. You know what I'm saying? It's not even take 2 weeks. So now they excuse continue almost like how long? It's almost more than 2 months. That is cannot acceptable. So we as a city of Jersey City had a contract, maintenance contract elevator with XYZ, I'm not going to name the company then, and the way they provide the service for maintenance elevator, I think guys, we have to
the guys
really...
that he complained about when he was talking about that contract.
So I'll reach out to Mr. Redfield in a second to see if they know what's going on with the contractor.
They cannot hold it, the bingo game upstairs, and they cannot hold any event because of that. You know, it's a really, and our councilman, you know, senior councilman, Richie Bujano, have to walk through the steps. You know, it's
I carried you up.
Oh, is that right? So, please.
Listen, Bob, while we're talking about elevators, fire headquarters elevators out for 2 years. When are they going to fix that?
Where?
That's right.
Fire headquarters.
I walked up those steps.
Yeah. For 2 years.
Then what are they charging? Maintenance. What are they charging for the city of Georgia City? $100,000.
The fire department is a lot more work than just maintaining. There's a $100,000 expenditure there.
It's been down for almost 2 years.
Yeah, but the maintenance cost, I mean, the charging to city of the city, they're not low the price because they're not able to maintain that one or maintain this one and the 28 or 5 the office. You know what I'm saying? So, Bob.
Yes, sir.
Play hardball, please.
First thing in the morning.
Last one, 10T. Resolution authorizing an award of a contract to CDW Government Inc. for the purchase of a 10T, a web filtering application for the Department of Public Safety. This is a piece of hardware to protect our internet and block certain usage.
Questions on 10T?
Ready for the software to computer. Is it different or is it duplicated service from the by different company?
Different companies.
Yeah, but I understand, but you know, already we hired the internet security company to spyware, malware, all those things. We do that already.
It's two separate networks, two separate vendors. It's like their network is separate and discrete from mine, so I use a different product than they do.
There's two different IT systems. Public safety is on one, and the rest of the city is under Bob. Correct?
Public safety is much larger than Bob's network. Much larger.
Okay.
All right,
thank you.
Thank you.
Speaking of Bob.
And Bob, you're up.
Good evening, all. Whoop. I have 5 resolutions. 4 of them are on the agenda, and I guess one of them is a late item.
Starting with V.
Okay.
V like a Victor.
V is for maintenance of.
Let's think wireless for proprietary computer hardware and software.
Right, it's for maintenance of our wireless wide area network equipment. We have radios on a number of different city facilities which use licensed FCC bands to allow these buildings to communicate with one another. It's a more cost-effective way than actually using a telecom provider like Verizon, who would charge us recurring costs on a monthly basis for telecommunications lines.
Questions? 10V? Hearing none, next item.
10W.
Let's think wireless for the wireless large area network at land.
Yeah, 10W is for Wi-Fi internal to the Bethune Center. The folks at Bethune, have a lot of educational and, neighborhood events at their location, and they've been asking for quite a long period of time to actually have a Wi-Fi network in there in order for these folks to get access to the internet local to the building and also do training programs within the building. So we had the money, and we're going ahead and building a Wi-Fi network internal to the building. Okay, 10X is a contract with New Jersey Business Systems, which is connected to 10W. Not only are we putting Wi-Fi internal to the Bethune Center, we're also upgrading their wide area network wireless link, so they'll get better access to the city network, better access to the internet, and we'll also be able to put them on the city's telephone system, voice over IP telephone system. And then 10Y is a renewal of our contract with Dell. Dell currently provides a system that allows us to archive all city email, and also they'll act as a backup for us in case our email systems go down in a disaster. We'll be able to run our email off of their servers. So it's a renewal of the contract. And then the late item is a contract with SunGuard Public Sector.
I handed it to you before the beginning of the meeting.
Payroll system? Yes. And in much the same fashion that we use Dell as a backup for disaster recovery for email, we're using SunGuard Public Sector as a backup in the event that our computer systems go down and the city is not able to do its payroll processing. We'll be able to connect to SunGuard's computers in Florida via the internet and actually do our payroll processing remotely via the PCs and the internet.
Specific to payroll.
Yes.
Any questions? Hearing none?
Thanks very much.
Thank you. What was that, Councilman? You okay?
Thank you.
Well, I can find it in there. Right
Okay,
under
from the
there.
top then. Let's go.
And that is the environmental deed restriction, removal on the property, or no, excuse me, imposing an environmental deed restriction on 271, 285 Martin Luther King Drive, the Cunningham Library.
This should have been done in 2003.
Right, what was that about?
This is just making it record that there was environmental concerns when that property was built, when that library was built. This should have been done in 2003. Why wasn't? I have no idea.
My question is, you're saying to me that that wasn't done. In other words, you're saying.
The deed restriction wasn't issued back then. So what happens in the event years from now we decide to sell that property? We have to let them know that there's environmental issues there.
And we built the library anyway with environmental issues there?
Well, they capped it. I mean, I'm sure they did the appropriate capping and then built the building on top of it. There's just paperwork that should have been done 12 years ago.
Yeah, there are plenty of properties like this throughout the city, right?
Yes.
There are plenty of properties throughout the city that are like this. Like, I know the charter school.
But even though JCRA did the property, it's our property, so we have to do it, not JCRA. Second readings?
Second readings, any questions on second readings? Ask it now or forever hold your
Any
peace.
staff you want for the council meeting?
Yes, if you need some professionals from the city hall.
Anyone?
For any of the second readings, please let us know now.
Okay.
Okay, none? And from.
Are we in resolutions?
You shall wait?
You okay?
Okay, resolution 10A, authorizing an emergency temporary appropriation. B and C are related. B is a resolution authorizing the city to execute a letter of agreement with Investors Bank.
Can I ask
C
you-
is a resolution authorizing the execution of a memorandum of understanding between the City of Jersey City and Investors Bank regarding a community reinvestment program.
A goes first.
Who goes first?
A.
Hey, you have a question on A? Go ahead.
No, they're both in B and C. What is that?
Are you on B or C?
10B and C. 10B and
And B.
C.
I said Ward A goes first.
Oh, Ward A goes.
It's hard to get in front of Michael, so I was just
Got it.
going around. What is that about? Because it seems like we're putting
Right.
75 million required in a.
Bank.
So what's happening here, and Dave and Jeremy will chime in at some point. The city, I guess, last summer maybe?
Yep.
Yeah, JCRA did an RFP or RF.
A request, a statement of interest.
Statement of interest for banks looking to do business at the hub, in the old, I guess, Bank of America site. And investors, everyone was reached out to, but only investors came back, expressed an interest in doing banking at the hub. And because they were willing to come in there, the city was willing to make a financial commitment to bring them in there. And as you can see from this agreement, the city is going to commit upwards of $75 million. So what does that mean overall? So we'll be changing banks. Our Bank of America is our current payroll, does a lot of our payroll, and Wells Fargo takes a lot of the property tax money in order to make this commitment to keep our end of the agreement for them to put a branch at the hub. And there's also, they're going to probably put some other brick and mortar sites throughout the city, but initially we're just talking about the hub. We'll be closing our business with Bank of America and probably Wells Fargo in order to reach our end of the commitment.
We're putting our deposits into Investors Bank, right?
Correct. We're going to do our primary bank moving forward will be Investors. So our vendor checks, our payroll checks, it will be through Investors. It's a little bit of a transition. But it's not something that hasn't been done before. We were PNC Bank at one time. We transitioned to Bank of America, and we survived.
Benefit, because obviously there's 75 million, and I think they're giving us about 1/10%.
The real benefit is.
And it's not that we're giving it to them, it's that we're transferring the money to that
Right.
account and use that bank, right? Yes. Okay.
So first of all, on the financial terms, they're actually better than we were originally getting, or not originally, better than what we've been getting from Bank of America. But more important than that is that this bank is going to work with our community to be a true community bank. And this is one of those things that we've talked about generally by talking about bridging the gap between what you can get downtown and the types of services you can get with the rest of the city. And then more specifically about revitalizing the hub. You know that many steps have been taken to make this hub a true commercial enterprise and a true center for the community. And we're putting our city building up there, which is going to bring business and bodies there. We want to have a bank there. We want to have restaurants there. We want to have all of that activity focused and make it truly a hub.
Okay. One at a time. Councilman Young.
You know what, actually, when I read this one, I'm very delighted to hear that. It's about time, give and take. We give some business, we get some from the bank to actually help the community. But I have a couple of concerns. The number one, we're going to put you almost over the years $75 million. But as I understand, this fund, what we pay City Hall, the investor banks, is secured by FDIC for the federal. The insurance things, it's a $75 million, but that's what my concern. Our money, which is $75 million.
I don't want to get off on a tangent about what FDIC does and doesn't do. Our money is as secure investors as it was in Bank of America, which is the important thing.
Yes, we all were there. We were there, but
if he was not at the council table, it's okay, but now in the council, so we all trust what they say, but our role as a councilman is more like not check and balance. So we just
FDIC follows a very specific program. It's going to apply to this bank the exact same way it applied to Bank of America.
Okay. I do want to say one thing about the gentleman that we've been dealing with at Investors. He used to be our representative at Bank of America, so he knows our business as well as anyone. He was the one that did the transition for us 15 years ago, whenever it was. So he knows our accounts very well, and he's leading the charge in this transition as well. So, I mean,
Better deal.
and, we got a better deal, and, the rates are a little bit better, and they're gonna be very competitive as rates change. They promised,
Bank of America to do this, they said no.
right.
So no, number one. So I just want to make sure our fund in the printers, there's 75 million that's secure. That's number one. But as you say, we do over the years, Bank of America, whatever we have, we put those kind of dollars. Okay, so we understand.
And this bank is authorized by the state of New Jersey. We couldn't do business with them.
How big is the bank? How many
It's
billions?
17.4 billion in assets.
Okay, 4 million, all right. And
Se-
first of all,
17.
FDIC only covers, I believe, up to $200,000.
It's a little bit different with government banking. It's a little bit different with government banking, number one. And number two, the other thing that Investors Bank is, Investors Bank also has a charter with the state of New Jersey, and the actual state of New Jersey charter is actually more strict than the federal charter.
Wednesday night, why don't you come back and tell us it's a little bit different? So I worked for the banks for years.
I never heard of anything different for
50
business.
years ago. Bank of America, the same amounts of Bank of America right now, so what's the difference?
But the thing is, I never heard of this bank, Investors Bank.
It's like a community bank.
And the president is from Jersey City.
Fine. So that's what I'm saying.
It's committed to Jersey City, and that's what 10C is all about.
Yes. We understand. We use that bank. They're going to help that her. Number one. Number two. Also, this bank going to be investor community. I love to hear that. It's about time to But number three. This is my concern. Number one complaint we heard that probably not myself. Every council members from the homeowners used to be they able to pay their property tax. Capital One Bank, some bank in that area. But now...
That was Capital One's decision, not ours.
Okay, yes. Yeah, we understand.
Bank
That's
of
what I'm
America
saying.
never did it.
Yes, we understand. So my concern is that $75 million for one part of the bank, investor bank is okay. But I want you to actually come up with some idea. We use some fund to deal with a certain bank. It's based on they take a property tax, service. Something we gotta put those kind of effort to actually.
with this bank because they gave us a better rate. They're giving us a better service rate.
You know what I'm
You're
saying?
saving money by using this bank opposed to Bank of America.
Councilperson Coleman and then Councilman Young.
Yeah, because he's asking the bank for more. In other words, the bank has already given us more than we have with the bank that we're currently using, which is Bank of America. This bank is offering us a better rate, a better flexibility, and it's in our area. Bank of America charges us more.
So you know what's been here? Yes. So
You understand?
Councilman, we'll work with someone on that.
Yes, please, because my argument with the Capital One Bank, it's not only
Capital One Bank, Wells Fargo Bank, any bank, I should not name the bank. See, it's a lot of homeowners are senior, they have to come down to City Hall to pay property tax. So they wish to have their major bank locally located in this area accept property tax bill. So then, when I speak with the bank, they say, listen, we provide that service without owning, nothing, no own actually. Just we increase our paperwork itself, we got no benefit out of it, and also we has not major deal with the, any banking with the city of Jersey City. Actually, that's the two reasons they're not doing those kind of service anymore. So my key is that $75 million put you investor bank to provide those kind of services. Thank you for that. I really appreciate it. But meantime,
Councilman, we heard you. The DA said he's going to look into options. What is he looking into? What exactly?
So people can go to the branch and pay the taxes directly. Like, it used to be Capital One up there in the Heights, but Capital One put us on notice in December 14 that they would no longer accept walk-ins. So now the taxpayers up in the Heights have to come to City Hall and pay directly. So we were looking for options throughout the city. Yeah.
okay? Only just gives you 75 is one bank, but also, all right? So we can get some good news sooner or later.
Hopefully sooner.
Very good.
Okay, any other questions or comments regarding 10B and 10C?
D is authorizing veterans deduction at 198 Woodlawn Avenue. E is it?
Just want to congratulate Dave for doing a wonderful job with this project.
Yeah, can I just say, actually, you're right on. This has been working on at the Jersey City Redevelopment Agency since before Mayor Fulop, under Mayor Healy, when I was on the redevelopment agency then, and trying to get a bank over to the hub, and did not meet with success. And so I want to congratulate them. Great job. Yeah.
Myself and you were working on it back then.
And we're trying to cobble together the deposits and so forth to make it an opportunity for a bank to make that investment. And yeah, I just said great job, David, and everyone else who worked on this.
You guys are welcome, but I also want to mention that I'd like to thank, since we're going to thank people, Chris Fiore, the Assistant Executive Director at the JCRA. He has been absolutely important in this fact, and even though he's not here, so maybe he'll see it on TV, just to say that he's really worked hard on this and he's done a great job, and with the lease and everything like that, and this wouldn't have happened without Chris Fiore, so I want to say that. Thank you.
All right, E, shared services agreement with the Board of Ed to allow the city to install field lighting at the Caven Point Athletic Complex.
Can I just point out, this is what the gentleman who was talking about the grant, there was a shared services agreement forthcoming. This is the agreement that he was talking about. Can't remember his name.
You know, I'm okay with
because we use a Caven Point field for the recreation purpose. But here's, I think, my concern is that when you see the contract, shared service agreement, they have an issue is that
Which one is that, Council?
shared service agreement, that is 10E, yes, 10E.
What's your
Yeah. Yes, this is the one, actually. One of the item, yes, just a minute, let me here you go. Contract pays, I think, if you see shared service agreement between someone, so like page 2, item C.
Item C.
Yes, the city shall comply with all the state of New Jersey environmental requirements concerning renovation of the field, including but not limited to completion or remediation of this site. Now, see, I'm feeling uncomfortable, not limited. Do they have any cap?
No, that's standard remediation language. If we are ordered by the DEP that something has to happen there, we got to do it. So that's language is written that way, so that we're able to meet any DEP obligations.
And it's already an existing playing field, and what we do is we put the turf on it.
Right.
So we understand, but
When I see that the 2 years experience council, when they come on environmentation, make me very nervous. You know, so now.
You should be.
No, because you know what?
You should be.
Hundreds of $1,000s for hire the company, you know, so really when I see that issue. So now, environmental requirement, that's the key word that bothered me, because Caven Point, we not on the place. We just going maintain the top lighting center scoreboard. But now they ask us if we have any environmental requirement, we have to, not limited, but not limited to. So in other words, it can be just in case. We gotta always get in case. If they have environmental issue, they cost us city of Jersey millions of dollars. And if that land is not even our land, you know, we.
No, it's your.
So now, I just want to make sure there's some kind of cap. We do, but we're not going to spend more than $100,000 what certain limited we set.
We can't say that because if the Department of Environmental Protection says we have to spend $10,000.
Yes, but that's not our land. They own land owned by Board of Ed, about what we take and why we take a risk to clean the site. That's what I'm saying.
Right, because we're doing the improvement, so we're taking on the risk for that improvement. So the limit to our exposure is it's only the remediation necessary to do this improvement.
So now then we gotta be clear for that. Okay.
It's clear if you read the document.
Because
None of these clauses work in isolation.
Okay. All right. So you should. I think you.
Yeah. Now the costs associated with that remediation, it could be cleaning up all the dirt around the light post that goes in, whatever the DP orders, you don't necessarily know that until you go in for your permit. That's where the unlimited part is whatever they say we have to do the work we're asking to do. But they can't tell us that we gotta, do something that's not related to the project that we're trying to make happen. And ultimately, if it were to end up being, let's say they said for some reason, which I couldn't imagine they said, but let's say they said we had to completely excavate down 30 feet and, move all the soil. They said that, then we could say, okay, at this point in time, then we're not gonna proceed.
So just make sure that we get protected, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, no worries. So if you come back to
I got your back.
All right?
Thank you.
We did F, G, and H. I is a cooperation agreement with the Jersey City Redevelopment Agency to improve Berry Lane Park, implementing the Morris Canal redevelopment plan. J, K, L, and M, closed municipal streets. Town Square and Ring Road on May 2nd for the Newport 10K run finish. K is Exchange Place on May 24th for the Katyn Forest Massacre Memorial Committee. L is Exchange Place on May 31st for the Cuban Parade and Festival events. M, Astor Place from Monticello Avenue to Park Street, and Crescent Avenue from Belmont Avenue to Brinkerhoff Street on Saturday, August 22nd for an education and an information fun party, block party. N, authorizing an execution of a second mortgage agreement with correcting the period of affordability affecting the property known as 355 Randolph Avenue. We went all the way from O through Y. Z is hiring Dr. Lawrence Buckholz, a veterinarian for the animal clinic. Z1 is a resolution that was withdrawn on the last meeting because it had no PO. It's hiring pediatric consultant Dr. Solomon Owusu. That's an annual event around here. You got the fact sheet for Z2, a resolution authorizing a professional services agreement with Alpine Medical Group to conduct medical examinations of civilian and uniformed employees and of applicants for employment. Z3, amending a professional services agreement to provide legal services for the city to be represented in the matter of realty appraisal company versus the city of Jersey City. We're being represented by Shane Schaefer and Raffinello. Z4 is Dominic Carmagnolia to represent former Chief of Police Robert Troy.
Yes, G2. Z2? Yes. We're back to Z2. Going backwards?
Yes.
Yep, the resolution for the
Rob.
They're a minority-owned Jersey City
Yes.
company.
Yes.
We understand that. I think at last year, when we do the March 12 to 19, 14 to April 8 this year, how much it cost? I thought it cost $101,000 for the Care Point Health.
What time period?
March 12, 2014 till April 8, 2015. As I understand, Care Point Health provides this service as $100,000. Now this company, they want $181,000. So did I miss something?
Who was the previous provider?
Care Point
Careful
Health.
with the previous provider.
We pay $101,000, $285 that service. Exactly same service.
You have to compare the specifications from that contract to this one. This was bid out, earlier this year. I know the specifications were changed. I have to compare the specs to see what services provided with the original contract versus this one. And it was publicly bid. So this is their bid price. But probably the scope of services were changed in the RFP, and that's why they got the higher price.
CarePoint came in at $226,000.
Yeah. They were the high bidder of the three.
So there was a different specification, I guess, right?
Different specification from the original contract.
Then my next question is that why would they change that specification to compare the last year and this year? what is added to that, you know,
I'll speak with the HR director to see what changed in her
you know what I'm
spec.
saying?
Yes, sir.
So at least we pay more, but we want to know
Get more
what kind of
services.
extra service we provide.
Did you provide the council a memo detailing
Comparing the specs for the
Yeah.
first time for this one.
what the changes are in the specs?
Z5, proclaiming April 2015 as Autism Awareness Month. Z6, recognizing April 18th as Cathedral Arts Festival Appreciation Day. Z7 is authorizing the business administrator to execute a discharge of mortgage affecting the property at 294 Pearsall Avenue.
So what happened, I'm sorry. Councilman Yun, you had a Sexual Assault Awareness Month resolution.
Yeah,
Just to be on this agenda.
We're working on it. We wanted to make it better than the cookie cutter, but we'll have it.
Motion.
We have a motion to adjourn.
Michael Young and I both have something to say. Bob, I spoke to you this afternoon. I think Ryan Struthers has to come down. I want to sit down with a couple of people from this council with Ryan Struthers because Pershing Field is being destroyed as far as I'm concerned, with personnel being changed, things not being done, Pavonia Avenue Park. I understand now they just took a lot of the powers away from Frank Francino. I want Mrs. Blue, or whatever her name is, to come to the meeting. I want to sit down with these people because some of this stuff has got to stop. Pershing Field, as far as I'm concerned, the morale up there is horrible, and things have to change. And it's getting to be a little boring and tiresome. Michael, come on. He was at the meeting with me today.
Councilman, if you want to talk to the director, that's always an option. So just reach out to them and schedule a meeting.
We had an issue, excuse me, just a minute. Yes. Okay. The Pershing Field, the baseball, they organized carnival at the Pershing Field. And they had some kind of issue between community, neighbors, and the church and so on. We understand. So one of the issues when we discussed, they come down, that Pershing Field Baseball League was supposed to get $22,000 a year, some kind of grant, but they didn't receive the grant. $22,000 almost 2 years. It's not only then, there were 7 baseball leagues citywide that nobody received that they fund the 2 years. So now we'd like to know why they not received the fund yet, and then what is the reason, and when they will release fund. So it's 22,000 times 7.
Councilman, those are great questions. Just send
the director
an email. This is not complicated.
Right. Just part of that right now. So I reached out to Director Strother, and he told me that, and historically, those payments get made when the season's completed. He told me everyone who submitted their 2014 paperwork has been paid. Now I asked him, who hasn't been paid? He's getting me a report in the morning, but he said whoever has submitted their paperwork has been paid. Those who haven't, some leagues refuse to give him paperwork and still want the money, so he hasn't paid those groups. So when I get more information tomorrow, I will definitely share it with the council.
They not received 2013 and 2014. If they not receive this year, it's going to be 3 years. You know what I'm saying? I believe that's not his fault because not 2013. But we want to know where he standing when they will release fund. They have because like a baseball season. They're desperately fund. Okay, so that's what we're looking for.
No, I think it's great. My only point is, if you need information from anyone of the directors, feel free to email them or call them. We'd love to get you the information. We just need you to tell us.
That's what I was just getting ready to say. We can't all call him down here and we sit and meet because that's against the sunshine law for all of us to sit down with a director unless he's going to make a presentation here at the council. But all I do is pick up the phone. I just met with Dave Donnelly. So all you have to do is pick up the phone and tell him you want to meet with him and what about and set up the meeting.
And these issues have been going on for 18 months and with a lot of people up in the north.
Well, have you met with him yet?
We've brought the issue up.
I said, have you met with him yet?
Yes, I spoke to him several times and we're getting tired.
Well, then if you have a complaint.
53, seconded by Councilman Ram Charles, seconded by Councilperson Waterman. Say goodnight, everyone in attendance.